Movie review number 1483 is Roofman. Roofman is a 2025 movie that is directed by David Cianfrance. David Cianfrance. Cianfrance. I believe he also directed The Light Between Oceans. But anyway, this movie has Paramount Pictures, Miramax Films, High Frequency Entertainment, Hunting Rain Films, 51 Entertainment, Limelight Productions, and Filmnation Entertainment. Okay, that's a lot of logos. And it is the first movie to have Paramount Pictures with the byline of a Skydance Corporation. Wow. So anyway, I saw this movie on October 18th, 2025 at Kenwood Video in Kenwood, Ohio. Now this is based on the true story of the guy who is known as Roofman. His real name is Jeffrey Manchester, but he goes by the name Roofman, and he is a criminal. Let's just say that he has broken into several McDonald's and has stored money, and at times he kind of kidnapped the people that were working. But some of the people that are like victims say that he's actually a pleasant, well-mannered guy, despite what he's doing. So, after escaping from prison, former soldier and professional thief Jeffrey Manchester finds a hideout inside a Toys R Us, surviving undetected for months while planning his next move. However, when Jeffrey falls for a divorced mom, his double life starts to unravel, setting off a compelling and suspenseful game of cat and mouse as his past closes in. So, Jeffrey Manchester goes by the name Roofman, and he has been charged with kidnapping, burglary, and other crimes. He escapes from prison, and he's trying to find a hideout to hide himself for a while, and he does so by going to this Toys R Us. Now you guys have probably heard of Toys R Us, which was a popular toy store before other corporations like Amazon kind of got the Toys R Us out of business. Of course, I hear them making a comeback, so that's always good. But anyway, Jeffrey Manchester decides to hide in this Toys R Us, and he's figured out a way to become undetected without any of the employees noticing. So he's actually living in this Toys R Us. During the day, he hides in his room that he decided to build himself into. But during the night, when all the employees are away, that's when he decides to have some fun in the Toys R Us and gets a lot of toys, eat some candy, and he has a good time. But one day, he decides to go to this local church after hearing about a toy donation. So he decides to donate some toys from the Toys R Us store. While at the same time, he meets this divorced mom, and they decide to go out. And this mom, who has two kids, two daughters, Jeffrey eventually meets them, and he decides to become part of their lives as he decides that he wants to date this mom. However, she doesn't realize that he is a criminal, and police are looking for him. So will his double life prevent Jeffrey from getting what he would like? Will he have to go away in order to be undetected? What will happen? Like I said, this is based on a true story, but I thought it was pretty good. Now, it's interesting though. Jeffrey Manchester is a criminal, but people have said that he's a nice person. He's not threatening or screaming at the victims. He's just talking to them like everyday people. So he is a criminal, but you can see there's still some part of humanity left in him, a little bit. But anyway, this movie has Channing Tatum as Jeffrey Manchester. Kristen Dunst portrays Ray Wainscott. She is the single mother and Jeffrey's love interest, and she also was a Toys R Us. Ben Mendelsohn portrays Ron Smith, who is a pastor. Peter Dinklage portrays Mitch, who is a Toys R Us general manager. Uso Aduba portrays Irene, who is Ron's wife. Juno Temple portrays Michelle, who is Steve's girlfriend. Emily Cohen portrays Otis, who is a Toys R Us employee. Lakeith Stanfield portrays Steve. Steve is an Army veteran and Jeff's friend, who's trying to get Jeff out of the situation. Melanie Diaz portrays Tarana. Molly Price portrays Officer Serene Riff. Lily Corrias portrays Wincy Wainscott, who is Ray's eldest daughter. Tony Weber Foley portrays Doreen, who is a McDonald's manager. Jimmy O'Yane portrays a used car salesman. And Kennedy Moyer portrays Dee Wainscott, who is Ray's youngest daughter. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie. Now, I won't say what happens to Roofman in the end, but I will say this. I don't think he regrets seeing this divorced mom and wanting to spend time with her, and he realizes that it could cost him his wife and he could go back to prison. But at the same time, he feels more alive or free when he's with her and her daughters. Pretty interesting. But I thought it was a pretty good movie. So that's my movie review of Roofman. Please enjoy this movie review. Alright, goodbye.